Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the teams competing in the 2015 Mid-Season Invitational. Representing the European League Championship Series, Season 1 World Champions, Fnatic.
Fnatic have an uncontested nexus, and they will finally win the Spring Splits.
Huni, Reignover, Forbidden, Steelback, and Yellowstar. Fnatic. From China's The League of Legends Pro League and a 2014 World Championship qualifier, it's Edward Gaming.
The once and future kings ascend again to the throne. EDG, your 2015 LPL Spring winners.
Coro 1, Clearlove, Pawn, Deft, and Mako. Edward Gaming. Representing the League of Legends Master Series and 2014 World Championship participant, AHQ Esports Club. Ziv, Mountain, West Door, and Albus. AHQ Esports Club. From Turkey and winner of the 2015 International Wildcard Invitational, Besiktas Esports Club.
Congratulations, Besiktas heading to MSI.
Valdrin, Theocles, Energy, Nardius, and Dumbledoge. Besiktas Esports Club. Representing League of Legends Champions Korea and the Season 3 World Champions, SK Telecom T1.
The first Nexus turret down, the second Nexus turret down, a triple kill for Marin, and SKT takes the 3-0. GG, we'll see you at the Invitational.
Marin, Bengi, Faker, Bang, and Wolf. SK Telecom T1. From the North American League Championship Series and three-time NALCS champions, Team Solo Mid.
Turtle a double, turtle a triple, turtle a quadra. The consecutive wins for Team Solo Mid. The Nexus falls, and Team Solo Mid are the 2015 North American Spring Split champions.
Dyrus, Santorin, Bjergsen, Wild Turtle, and Lust Boy. Team Solo Mid. Here are your mid-season invitational challengers.
Your competitors for this year's mid-season invitational. A lot of veterans alongside a lot of newcomers looking to put their stamp on the League of Legends scene. Smiles on their faces as we scroll by here. Everybody elated to be at this event.
Oh, I'm looking forward to all these plays that are going to come out there. That's a lot of combined ELO up on that stage.
Well, exactly as you mentioned, there are some heavy hitters out there, including some near legendary names in the mid lane. Now, how do you guys see this battle for the mid lane playing out this week?
Now, Bjergsen's coming into this tournament as arguably the best mid laner in the West. He's known for a dominant laning phase, a deep champion pool, and a particular prowess in assassins. Now, due to the meta, though, assassins aren't necessarily the best champions to pick, and you're seeing a trend of more so farm-heavy and teamfight-oriented champions. And assassins just might not be the best pick against somebody like the likes of Faker, Pawn, Westdoor, and whatnot. But important to note, TSM has red side all 3 games, which means that Bjergsen can pick assassins in a counter pick if he wants to. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think he's going to go for something more like what they did against Cloud9 in the finals, which you pick a more late-game scaling mage, such as a Kog'Maw or a mage counter pick or a Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and I think that really is to Bjergsen's credit, that he does have the diversity in his champion pool to be able to branch out like that. We talk about his assassins a lot, but he also was able to pull out the Kog'Maw, and he did like 55% of his team's damage. It was an absolute monster play. A person that hasn't really adapted as well is Pawn, actually. We saw that he went back to Jace, which is a very important pick, but from there it has been all assassins for him still. The Fizz, the LeBlanc, Kassadin coming through. They do have some late game prowess, but Pawn hasn't really come through with the meta. Instead, he feels a different role for his team. A lot of early game pressure, transitions it well to the mid game, but from there Deft kind of takes over. But he fills a niche position for his team, and I want to see how other mid laners adapt to that.
Yeah, but I think there's a mid laner that can kind of adapt to that. When we talk about near legendary mid laners, we have to talk about Faker. Faker Playmaker, he's all over the place. This guy, he adapted. He's playing the Lulu for his team. He's playing the LeBlanc. Those are 2 bans that you expect to be thrown at this guy all tournament long. He makes the plays, and basically when you open up the dictionary and you look at League of Legends mechanics, there's a picture of Faker there. And you tear out that page and there's another picture of Faker under mechanics, because he is just so good at the game, and he's taught people so much. His time on Season 3 Worlds and at Paris All-Stars, this guy, when he steps onto the international stage, he delivers. His record in international competitions is 24-3. He's the person that all mid laners are looking to beat in this tournament.
Yeah, but one person that has beat him in lane before definitely is Pawn. He's pulled it out.
That's
the
true.
Talon matchup, beat it in the reverse as well. There's certainly someone in the competition that can take it to him, at least in the laning phase.
Yeah, their head-to-head record, I think, is 6-12. So not that great for Faker. So I want to see that matchup. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. But, right now you can't really talk about Faker without talking about the other side of the SKT coin, which is EasyHoon. Now, EasyHoon, if Faker's the god, EasyHoon's got to be the immortal, because this guy dies 1.1 times in his games. He's had 16 games, 18 deaths total. He plays the long-range control mages, things that Faker hasn't really picked up, and it allows Faker to focus on what he is going to be bringing to the table, honing his LeBlanc, honing his Ezreal. And EasyHoon is absolutely incredible. Last year on SK Telecom T1S, he was not this caliber of player. And that's one of the questions that I rose earlier, where how good is Korea? And I think EasyHoon is a good display of a player who's gotten really, really better over time. So that's kind of out of the question for me, that EasyHoon is definitely somebody you have to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, you usually talk about EasyHoon as the control mage type, but we saw him against GE Tigers going for the solo kills as well. I think he's also able to play this kinds of champions and carry from there on out with the kills on the lane.
Yeah, it's a stylistic thing. Even though he's playing the champion, he can still exploit your mistakes, which I think is really good for a mid laner. So if somebody messes up, some rookie or something like that,
they should not take him lightly.
Yeah.
And we're throwing a lot of these big names around. In any discussion about mid laners at the international level, we got to bring up Westdoor, the fact that he has performed on an individual level across all regions in solo queue, and then has been the person to lead teams to international tournaments. Not so much success. We'll see if he can do that this time with a team that was built around him.
Yeah, Westdoor's an absolute monster. He's got all of his old champion pools still available. The Zed, the TF, they have to be hit on. The 4-1 split push is so big for AHQ. But then he's also pulled out Cho'Gath and Karthus, 2 control mages, 2 team fighters that people didn't really expect to see. And when you're known for this assassin play, this 4-1 split push, when you can change up on the fly and go towards control mages, it means that you're not really predictable anymore. You can't really counter it without the last pick.
Yeah, I really want to see how he holds up to big mid laners here, because he doesn't seem like the same Westdoor that we saw at Worlds. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. His CSing has gone out the window, and he's down like 40, 50 CS in his games. So I want to see him step up this tournament and see if he can deliver.
Yeah, that is one thing that definitely his laning phase sub 10 minutes doesn't look to be what it used to be. But in the team fights, he's still the Westdoor that we know and love.
I feel like when we mention all those big names, we should also take a step back and look at the new rookies, the star rookies. For example, Fabian, 17 years old, last year still in the Challenger Series, and now he is already the #1 team in the EU LCS, battling it out with the giants like Faker, EasyHoon, Pawn. You have to see how he performs, and I really look forward to those matchups.
Yeah, and you can't overlook him either, because he's going to come out swinging with those assassins.
And today he plays the first match against TSM, and apparently TSM's kryptonite is European mid laner, so I'm looking forward to this match.
I think the one thing that has to be spoken about in this tournament is going to be flexibility. These guys, before, some years ago, weren't that flexible. You saw a player and you could say, oh, he's just an assassin player. Just give him last pick, he's going to counter pick. But now, when you reach this high level of competition, these guys have shown flexibility. They're not just all assassin players. They can play control. They can switch it up. And it shows how much the game has grown. And I really want to see like how flexible these guys can really be in terms of, are they even good at it? Like, they can play it. Can they play it to this level?
Yeah, and I think we can take it a step further. These guys are no longer adaptable. These guys are completely unpredictable. For Biv and for me, he plays like Ahri and flanks and goes absolutely nuts, but then he pulls out Xerath the next game. Fake is kind of the same thing. Is he going to go the Xerath? He hasn't had much success, but I still think he's a very good Xerath player. Or is he going to go something like LeBlanc, where he's in your face? There's just so much, I guess, unpredictability that comes through from all the mid laners, and that's why they are the key to success for their teams.
Well, definite monsters in the mid lane. We talk about Pawn, who is one of the few pro players at MSI to have hoisted the Summoners Cup, and along with that comes the honor of being immortalized in the game forever with the championship skin. Last week we got our first glimpse of the new Samsung White Town, and here's a closer look while the world champion tells us about his winning moment.
No way. Pawn gets the general's jacket.
와우. 다대형이 점퍼를 얻었을 때는 제가 이제 다대형급의 선수가 된 것 같은 느낌이었어요.
And there is Intake though. What can he do? Surely we'll be able to finish off Pawn. He's actually just left him there, the invisibility. Whoa. And they go down. Samsung White, the 2014 World Champion.